Well, hello and welcome to the ADA Shop Talk podcast. I'm your host, Paul Klein, and if you are an ADA coordinator, government official, architect, or accessibility specialist trying to better understand the ADA, then you are in the right place. The ADA Shop Talk podcast is brought to you by BlueDag. Check out check out BlueDag's Transition Plan Builder and Inspection Suite over at BlueDag.com. So, little short episode for you today, and just wanted to share some updates and happenings in the world of accessibility in the ADA. So, as you know, we sometimes have interviews. Sometimes I do solo technical deals. So, but there are some things coming up in August here that you should probably be aware of, and this is a quick way for you to, catch up on all the happenings in the ADA space that you may have overlooked in your email box or not aware of or whatever. So I just grabbed some things from, that I saw that were of interest. First off, I renewed my CASI membership this month. So that's the Certified Access Specialist Institute for those of you out in the California area and so forth. And the CASI has their the annual business meeting or annual conference, their big conference coming up in October. I'm not going to be able to go because my daughter's getting married and that's more important. But if you're in California, if you're part of the CASP or interested in that, definitely check out CASI. Also, we have, and when I say we, I mean Mark and I with CalCast. CalCast is a training company and where I run some of my consulting through. We have our academy coming up in September. It's the last September 30th through October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So it's a Monday through Thursday. And if you're into all the California CASP stuff and you're trying to become certified and you want to bone up on a lot of that, that's a great session for you. So we just opened registration for that. I just sent out an email and that might be something that's of interest to you. Few years ago, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we had said, it's going to be the last one, which it was at the time. But I can tell you this is probably, and I'm not doing this as a marketing thing. I'm not even going to put an email out saying this. You're just going to hear it here on the podcast. But Mark and I have talked internally, and he's golfing and having fun with grandkids and stuff. And so this probably will be the last one. We talked about doing one in person, but definitely this will be the last virtual one for sure. There's a possibility maybe next spring we might do one final grand finale, but no guarantees. So if you want to get into that, it's a great training, housing, accessibility, ADA, program access, advanced scoping, plan check. It's a very comprehensive, probably the most comprehensive course out there in my humble opinion. Of course, I'm biased, but we have heard good things about it over the years. So check that out, coming up on September 30th through August 3rd. It is virtual. You can join anywhere with a Zoom link and an internet connection. So if you want any more information about that, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer that. Or you can go to calcast.com and check that out. But so let me just start kind of in sequential order. The first thing is newsworthy here is U.S. Access Board issues final rule setting low transfer height for certain medical diagnostic equipment. So that just came out in July 25th. And let's see. Yeah, it was July 26th on U.S. Access Board's website. I didn't really read the article, but it does, if you're in the medical diagnostic equipment space or dealing with those types of facilities, medical and hospital facilities, you'll definitely want to check that out. Again, I'll put links for all this stuff in the show notes. So if you're driving or mowing the lawn or whatever, and you want to go back and research this a little bit. So check that out. You may not have been notified. That was something that just came out on the 26th here of just a few days ago. I'm recording this on the 29th, so it's 3 days old, hot off the press, if you will. And then let's see, the other one they put out too was sorry, it wasn't U.S. Access Board. This was the Access Board training coming up. This is a free training. Let me make sure it's free. Yes, it is. Deborah Martin and Bobby Sinnett with both accessibility specialists with the U.S. Access Board. This is through Accessibility Online. Great webinar sessions. It's coming up on August 1st, but it's access to medical care facilities, exam rooms, and long-term care facilities. So very much in line with, I would imagine they might talk a little bit about that recent final rule and kind of how it's going. But again, if you're dealing with medical care facilities, hospital, long-term care facilities, definitely check that out. It's free. You can go to Accessibility Online webinar, and it's Thursday, August 1st coming up this week, 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, it's recorded. And it's free. You can get AIA and all that good stuff. So I'll put the link into that in the show note there. And then for you housing folks out there, we have the Fair Housing Act Requirement 6. So reinforcement in grab bar walls is coming up on next Tuesday, August 6th, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And there's a whole series. If you're not familiar with Fair Housing First, they're a great organization sponsored by HUD that helps do training and all things Fair Housing Act. So the link that I put in the show notes here will take you to that training that's been going on, since June. They started out, and you can go back and watch the replays and everything. But the Fair Housing Act Requirement 6, reinforcement for grab bars. So this is where you're getting into the adaptable dwelling unit and backing requirements inside of adaptable dwelling units. So a little deep dive into that. Not too bad, an hour and a half or so. And there's 2 sessions, one at 10 and then another one at 2, all Eastern time. You can register. And again, that's free too. So great training for housing and so forth. And then another announcement from the U.S. Access Board, they've been busy, was they're holding hearings on artificial intelligence for the disabled community and AI practitioners. So it's great to see that the Access Board is getting involved in that, and there's a seat at the table. But man, I got to be honest with you, I don't really understand all this AI stuff, but it is pretty amazing. You use ChatGPT or whatever it's called, or the one I like is the Google one, Bard, or I forgot they changed the name now to Gemini or something. So it's pretty, you can ask it like accessibility questions, and it knows some pretty tricky nuances. I'm always trying to mess with it between state requirements and federal and tripping it up on terms. And it's amazingly smart. You can search, Google or Yahoo or whatever for, what's the cross slope for a ramp under the ADA, and you'll get, 10 or 15 hits. But this AI stuff, it deciphers, and you can say, summarize it, and what section was that in, and what is it compared to the ANSI, and it'll analyze that. It's pretty amazing. So I don't know where all this is going or how it's going to affect us. But the good news is the UX Access Board is coming up on August 8th at 10 o'clock Eastern and 2 o'clock Eastern, 2 sessions for the disabled community. So specifically for the disabled community to voice concerns and be involved in that process and how it affects them. I think AI has a great potential to help people with disabilities in terms of, people with speech impairments and, sight and being able to quickly calculate or tell people how to get somewhere at conferences because it's so fast and smart. So it's got some potential there. And then later in August, on August 22nd, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the federal agency and industry practitioner hearing. So they're doing a disabled community hearing on August 8th, and then industry and federal agency on August 22nd. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, check that out. I don't really understand the AIA stuff, AI AIA, not AIA, AI, artificial intelligence, not Americans with not American Institute of Architects. So anyway, yeah, that's in the link there. You can check that out. And then coming up on August 15th is in the ADA Shop Talk community. We've got how to create an ADA workshop for your community. So if you are an ADA coordinator or an accessibility specialist or, a Title II entity or even a Title III, public accommodation person who wants to create a workshop. So for the local community, well, this could be for the local government entity, or this could be for the local business community through the Chamber of Commerce or so forth. So I'm going to provide just some best practices and tips on how to do that. I've done at least hundreds of those over the years. And either through the Title II process, self-evaluation and transition plan process, or through, local chambers and building departments and business communities. It's kind of two different animals. So you want to attack the audience as different. Obviously, if you're speaking to, the constituents of a Title II entity that are embarking on their transition plan, it's a lot different than if you're speaking to the business community that's more subject to readily achievable barrier removal versus the entity, which is, dealing with program access. So anyway, it's a little 1 hour free webinar called How to Create an ADA Workshop for Your Community. Good little session for you there. Should have some good tips for you. Coming up on August 15th. You can register for that and it's free. And the other one coming up too for you California folks is I just registered for this series. It's CASP 101, Certification and Practice. So for you CASPs and California folks that are dealing with that, it's always good to take that CASP 101 as a brush up. It's been several years since I've taken it. I teach it in the academy, so I want to make sure I'm up to speed on the latest and greatest. And of course, if you're planning on taking the CASP exam in California coming up in October, it's an absolute must. So definitely take that. There's 3 sessions coming up: August 13th, August 20th, and August 27th. I think those are Tuesdays. I can't remember, but this one is $50 through the DSA Academy, and I got the link in there. But that's the CASP 101, where they really get into all of the different certificates and 120 days stay and the qualified defendant status and reports and CRASCA and all that fun stuff that comes with the CASP program. So check that out. And then another one that's really cool that I've mentioned before that's not California is the APA. APA is always American Plywood Association from my CBO days. APA is Accessibility Professionals Association out of Texas. And I've mentioned them before. They have a great certification program. We've talked about that. We've had a couple guests on talking about that. And their fall seminar, this is in September, but they have a fall webinar coming up Friday, September 6th. And there's quite a few cool sessions. So Jim Terry from Jim Terry and Associates, or ETA, on existing facilities and program access. That's gonna Jim always does a great session. Anytime you can learn from him is awesome. Also, he's doing accessible polling places, presented with Jim Terry, and then Kimberly Parleberg. She's from ICC. I don't know if I sent her last name, but I've taken her classes before. She works for ICC. She's doing accessible parking and sidewalks and also accessible means of egress. So 2 different sessions there that are available. And then looks like they also have Mark Hume talking about lessons learned and strategies for compliance, ADA and accessibility. And then finally, Don Wood is talking about the 2022 CBC intervening supplement. Okay, so that must be It must be doing a California building code session. So that's kind of cool. I'm just scrolling down here to take a look at that. That one. But so I'll put the link in there. You can research that a little more. That's just a quick summary. So that's coming up on Friday, September 6th, 2024. And that's the APA fall webinar. And those are kind of the big highlights that have come through in the last few weeks. I'm off to Times Square in New York for a client, and I'll be there for a few days when this comes out. And you'll probably hear this while I'm there, enjoying an adult beverage, and then I'll be back. Should be back Thursday of this week. So this comes out Wednesday. So probably by the time many of you listen to it, I might already be back. But that's it in a nutshell. I hope you can check out some of those. Check out the show notes for that, and make sure you're in the ADA Shop Talk community, posting any questions and fun stuff in there. We got lots of activity in there and good discussion and conversation around all this. And if you haven't already subscribed to the ADA Shop Talk podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast player such as iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And as always, shoot me an email if there's a topic, a guest, something you want to hear. I'm always looking for good content. Got some great guests coming and more solo shows and updates for you. So we're just trying to be a great resource for you. And if I hear from you, that helps me stay motivated and keep this going for you. So that's it for this week. Go out there and rock your ADA efforts. And remember, let's all work together to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Take care, travel safe, and until next week, have an awesome rest of your day and week and weekend for that matter. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.